Number 1 opens with Resident Evil 4 Remake, a modern reimagining that refines the classic survival horror formula into a tighter and more aggressive experience. The game blends tense exploration with precise third-person shooting, forcing players to manage limited resources while constantly adapting to unpredictable enemy behavior. Its pacing is carefully balanced, alternating between quiet build-up and intense combat encounters that keep pressure high without becoming overwhelming. Level design encourages tactical movement, environmental awareness, and smart positioning, while enemy encounters remain varied and threatening throughout. The remake enhances atmosphere through improved lighting, sound design, and environmental detail, making every village path and interior space feel hostile and alive. Combat feels weighty and responsive, with enemy reactions reinforcing each successful hit. Overall, the game succeeds as a polished horror action experience that respects its roots while modernizing every system to feel current and engaging on PS5.
The second entry is Alan Wake 2, a psychological horror experience that leans heavily into narrative depth and unsettling atmosphere. The game emphasizes slow burn tension, using environmental storytelling, distorted realities, and unreliable perception to keep players constantly uneasy. Exploration plays a major role, as players piece together fragmented stories through documents, environmental clues, and shifting locations. Combat is deliberate rather than frequent, reinforcing vulnerability and encouraging thoughtful use of limited tools. Lighting mechanics are used strategically, turning darkness into both a threat and a gameplay obstacle that must be managed carefully. The pacing allows dread to settle naturally, supported by strong audio design and haunting visual direction. Rather than relying on constant scares, the game builds a persistent sense of unease that grows stronger over time, making it a standout narrative-driven horror experience that rewards patience and attention.
Next comes Dead Space, a remake that focuses on immersive survival horror through tension, isolation, and strategic combat. The game plays players in a hostile environment where every corridor feels dangerous and every sound raises suspicion. Combat emphasizes precision, requiring players to dismember enemies strategically rather than rely on raw firepower. Resource management is central, pushing players to make tough decisions about ammunition, healing items, and upgrades. The level design promotes backtracking and exploration while maintaining a strong sense of claustrophobia. Visual enhancements significantly improve atmosphere, with dynamic lighting and environmental effects reinforcing the feeling of being trapped in a decaying structure. Audio cues play a crucial role in signaling danger and maintaining constant stress. Overall, the experience delivers consistent tension and mechanical depth, making survival feel earned rather than guaranteed.
Following that is Silent Hill 2, a psychological horror remake centered on atmosphere, symbolism, and emotional storytelling. The game prioritizes mood over action, using fog, sound, and environmental decay to create persistent discomfort. Exploration is slow and deliberate, encouraging players to absorb surroundings and interpret subtle narrative cues. Combat exists but remains secondary, reinforcing vulnerability and emotional weight rather than empowerment. The story unfolds through character interactions and disturbing imagery that invites interpretation rather than direct explanation. Visual updates enhance the oppressive tone while preserving the original's unsettling identity. Sound design is especially effective, using silence and distant noises to build tension without constant confrontation. The overall experience is reflective and disturbing, offering horror rooted in psychological unease rather than shock, making it deeply memorable for players seeking a more thoughtful approach to fear.
Still Wakes the Deep comes next as an atmospheric horror game focused on environmental tension and narrative immersion. Set in an isolated industrial location, the game emphasizes helplessness and confinement rather than combat. Players rely on stealth, observation, and movement to survive escalating threats. The environment itself becomes a major source of fear, with creaking structures, harsh weather, and limited visibility constantly working against the player. Storytelling is delivered organically through dialogue, surroundings, and unfolding events, keeping immersion high. Controls are intentionally grounded, reinforcing vulnerability and realism. The pacing avoids excess action, allowing dread to build naturally as situations worsen. Sound design plays a critical role in maintaining suspense, using ambient noise to suggest unseen dangers. The result is a focused horror experience driven by atmosphere and storytelling rather than traditional mechanics.
The Mortuary Assistant follows as a uniquely unsettling horror game that blends routine tasks with unpredictable supernatural events. The core gameplay revolves around methodical procedures that slowly become distorted by paranormal interference. This contrast between repetition and chaos creates constant psychological tension. Players are never fully prepared for what may happen next, as scares are dynamic rather than scripted. The environment feels confined and oppressive, reinforcing isolation during long periods of silence. Visual and audio cues are subtle, often making players question what is real and what is imagined. Progression is tied to uncovering hidden narrative elements while maintaining composure under pressure. The game avoids traditional combat entirely, focusing instead on endurance and attention to detail. Its strength lies in sustained unease rather than sudden shocks, making every session feel unpredictable and mentally taxing. MADiSON takes the next spot as a psychological puzzle horror game that emphasizes perception, memory, and environmental manipulation. The game presents a grounded setting that slowly becomes distorted through unsettling imagery and sound. Puzzles are integrated directly into exploration, requiring observation and logical thinking rather than trial and error. The narrative unfolds indirectly, encouraging players to piece together meaning from fragmented experiences. Visual design relies on realistic spaces, altered by subtle supernatural elements, enhancing immersion. Sound design frequently blurs the line between ambient noise and threat, maintaining constant uncertainty. The lack of combat reinforces vulnerability, forcing players to confront fear without defensive options. Progression feels deliberate and methodical, rewarding patience and attention. Overall, the game delivers a tense psychological experience built on atmosphere, mystery, and carefully paced escalation. Visage continues the list with a slow-paced psychological horror experience inspired by domestic spaces turned hostile. The game relies on exploration and environmental interaction to convey its disturbing themes. Players navigate familiar settings that gradually become warped by supernatural presence. Resource management exists but is minimal, keeping focus on observation and survival rather than action. The narrative is fragmented, encouraging players to uncover multiple storylines through exploration. Visual presentation emphasizes darkness, limited visibility, and subtle movement to create constant unease. Sound cues are sparse but effective, often signaling danger without revealing its source. Controls are intentionally restrained, reinforcing vulnerability and tension. The experience rewards careful exploration while punishing recklessness, making fear a constant companion throughout the game. The Outlast Trials follows as a cooperative-focused horror experience that blends survival mechanics with psychological pressure. Unlike traditional single-player entries, this game emphasizes teamwork under extreme stress. Objectives require coordination, communication, and careful planning while avoiding relentless threats. The environment is hostile and oppressive, designed to overwhelm players both visually and mentally. Stealth is essential, as direct confrontation is rarely effective. Progression systems encourage replayability while maintaining tension through unpredictable enemy behavior. Sound design is aggressive and disorienting, reinforcing panic during high-pressure situations. Despite its cooperative structure, the game preserves vulnerability and fear, ensuring that survival always feels uncertain. The result is a horror experience that balances teamwork with sustained intensity. Amnesia The Bunker closes the list with a survival horror game focused on emergent gameplay and constant threat awareness. The game plays players in a confined environment where a persistent enemy reacts dynamically to player actions. Resource management is critical, as supplies are limited and must be used strategically. Exploration is tense, with darkness and sound acting as primary threats. The game encourages experimentation and problem-solving, allowing multiple approaches to survival. Visual design emphasizes decay and claustrophobia, reinforcing isolation.
Sound plays a major role, as noise can attract danger at any moment. There is no fixed solution to encounters, making each playthrough unpredictable. Overall, the experience delivers sustained tension through intelligent design rather than scripted scares.